Hello, welcome to Astronautics for Exploit. This is Dr. Anyashola Ogundele. Mars colonization, a necessity based on high potential of Mars self-sufficiency. The focus points of my presentation are as follows: Mars colonization and mission concepts of Mars colonization. Mars colonization, the concept of human migration to the red planet to work and live on the Mars, has been garnering high interest from government space agencies, private space companies, and interested public individuals for centuries. Based on research findings and results obtained from several probes sent to Mars to explore it, Mars is said to be a celestial object with high potential of self-sufficiency. The motivations behind the colonization of Mars are human curiosity, to go where no human has ever gone, to have an in-depth knowledge of Mars beyond what rovers and probes can provide, a high economic interest of extracting Mars minerals to generate income for humanity, Mars orbit being close to the Earth's orbit, and the asteroid belt for easy access to the Mars minerals. Similarity of Mars' day and composition similar to the Earth, and the possibility of decreasing the likelihood of human extinction. Presently, there are ongoing plans to launch humans onto the red planet. It has been projected that by the year 2050, Mars will be colonized, and the ability to have commercially viable Mars autonomous mining process in place will aid quick human settlement on the planet. The process for having humans on Mars will be to set up operations, go to Mars and produce water with robots first, and then be able to extract the hydrogen to make the energy ready before people arrive. Since the commencement of the 20th century, there have been various proposals of human missions to Mars for the purpose of settlement on the red planet. An example of such proposals is the establishment of permanent habitats on Mars that will have potential for self-sufficiency and self-sustenance. Mars colonization. Mars colonization or settlement is the human migration to the Mars and long-term human establishment of colonies on the Mars for the purpose of living and working. The prospect of Mars settlement is gathering interest and momentum from various interested individuals, space agencies, and corporations, and has been extensively explored in science fiction writing, film, and art. Artists' impression of what a colony on Mars could look like is shown in this picture. Human mission to Mars. Various plans for a human mission to Mars, the first step towards any colonization effort, have been proposed. It has been identified that robotic mining that can provide water and fuel on Mars is the key to developing a colony on the red planet. An artist's impression of mining operations on Mars ahead of a potential colony of humans on the red planet is shown in this picture. Autonomous mining. It has been predicted that Mars will be colonized by humans by the year 2050, and this will be made possible once the autonomous mining processes become more commercially viable. The process for having humans on Mars will be to set up operations, go to the Mars, and produce water. The picture here shows artist's concept of the SpaceX interplanetary transport. Mission concepts of Mars colonization. There has been various mission concepts of Mars colonization, and they are Mars direct and semi-direct, in situ resource utilization, Mars to stay, Mars transportation infrastructure, fully reusable launch vehicles, human-rated spacecraft, rapid turnaround launch and landing mounts, and on-orbit propellant tankers. Mass direct and semi-direct. Mass direct is a proposal for a human mission to Mars, which researchers believe will be both cost-effective and possible with current technology. Originally, mass direct concept was described in a research paper by Robert Subrin and David Baker in 1990, and later expanded upon in Subrin's 1996 book, The Case for Mars. Mars ISO designed for a Mars base is shown in this picture. The Mars Direct proposal includes a component for a launch vehicle Earth, an Earth return vehicle, and a Mars Habitat Unit. The plan for the launch vehicle involves several launches that will make use of heavy lift boosters. The Earth return vehicle is a two-stage vehicle. The upper stage comprises the living accommodation for the crew during their 6-month return trip to Earth from Mars. The lower stage contains the vehicle's rocket engines and a small chemical production plant. The picture here shows artist's depiction of the habitat unit and the Earth return vehicle on Mars. The Mars Habitat Unit is a 2 or 3 deck vehicle providing a comprehensive living and working environment for a Mars crew. Subrin and Weaver developed a modified version of Mars Direct and called it Mars Semi-Direct. This mission consists of 3 spacecraft and includes a Mars ascent vehicle. The picture here shows artist rendering of Mars Semi-Direct. In situ resource utilization. In space exploration, in situ resource utilization is the practice of collection, processing, storing and use of materials found or manufactured on other astronomical objects, such as the Moon, Mars, asteroids, that replace materials that would otherwise be brought from Earth. The picture here shows in situ resource utilization reverse water gas shift testbed. Material replacement. In situ resource utilization could provide materials for life support, propellants, construction materials, and energy to a spacecraft payloads or space exploration crews. The use of in situ resource utilization for material production has not yet been implemented in a space mission, though several field tests in the late 2000s demonstrated various lunar ISRU techniques in a relevant environment. The picture here shows illustration of Mars exploration. Mars to stay. Mars to stay missions proposal is about sending astronauts to Mars for the first time, and they should intend to stay there. Unused emergency return vehicles will be recycled into settlement construction as soon as the habitability of Mars becomes evident to the initial pioneers. Mars to stay missions are advocated both to reduce cost and to ensure permanent settlement of Mars. The picture here shows a concept for NASA design reference mission architecture 5.0. Mars transportation infrastructure. Various Mars transportation architecture are being proposed. SpaceX has proposed the development of Mars transportation infrastructure in order to facilitate the eventual colonization of Mars. The mission architecture includes fully reusable launch vehicles, human-rated spacecraft, on-orbit propellant, tankers, rapid turnaround launch landing mounts, and local production of rocket fuel on Mars through in situ resource utilization. The picture here shows Tesla Roadster in space with Earth as the background, which was launched by Falcon Heavy test flight. Fully reusable launch vehicles. Reusable launch vehicle is a vehicle in which some of its parts can be recovered and reflown while carrying payloads from the surface to outer space. Rocket stages are the most common launch vehicle parts aimed for reuse. Smaller parts such as rocket engines and boosters can also be reused. Reusable launch vehicles do not need to make this pass for each launch, therefore reducing its launch cost significantly. The picture here shows Falcon Heavy side boosters landing during 2018 demonstration mission. Reusable launch vehicles may contain additional avionics and propellant, making them heavier than their expendable counterparts. Reused parts may need to enter the atmosphere and navigate through it, so they are often equipped with heat sheets, grid fins, and other flight control services. Parachutes and retro rockets. By modifying their shape, spaceplanes can leverage aviation mechanics to aid in its recovery, such as gliding or lift. In the atmosphere, parachutes or retro rockets may also be needed to slow it down. The picture here shows recovery of Falcon 9 first stage booster after its first landing. Human-rated spacecraft. A human-rated system accommodates human needs, effectively utilizes human capabilities, controls hazards with sufficient certainty to be considered safe for human operations, and provides to the maximum extent practical the capability to safely recover the crew from hazardous situations. Mars colonization spacecraft. A human-rated spacecraft is a spacecraft certified capable of safely transporting humans to the Mars and bringing them back safely to the Earth, and as a higher level of fidelity is being proposed for Mars colonization. The picture here shows an artist's illustration of the Inspiration Mars Foundation's spacecraft. Various human-rated spacecraft that are being designed by companies and their concepts, which are the human-rated lunar landers, are shown in this picture. We have the Dynetics, SpaceX, and the Blue Origin. Rapid turnaround launch or landing modes is another component of Mars colonization future, which is being sought after. A launch pad is an above-ground facility from which a rocket-powered missile or space vehicle is vertically launched. Launch pad can be used to describe the central launch platform, which could be mobile launching platform or the entire complex, launch complex. The picture here shows launch pad at Kennedy Space Center Launch Complex. On-orbit propellant tankers. An orbital propellant depot is a cache of propellant that is placed in orbit around Earth or another body to allow spacecraft or the transfer stage of the spacecraft to be fueled in space. It is one of the types of space resource depots that have been proposed for enabling infrastructure-based space exploration. The picture here shows artist's concept of a proposed United Launch Alliance propellant depot with sun sheets. Many different depot concepts exist depending on the type of fuel to be supplied, location, or type of depot, which may also include a propellant tanker that delivers a single load to a spacecraft at a specified orbital location and then departs. In-space fuel depots are not necessarily located near or at a space station. For successful Mars colonization, on-orbit propellant tankers have been proposed. The picture here shows NASA concept for a propellant depot from 1970. For more information, contact Astronautics for Exploit. You've been watching and listening to Mars colonization, which is necessitated by the high potential of Mars self-sufficiency, presented by Dr. Ayoshola Ogundele, with the focus points Mars colonization and mission concepts of Mars colonization. Thank you.